That's normal, because it feels normal. When we are angry and we're harming, it doesn't feel normal. That's why Buddha is normal and we are delusional. Because as Alon was rightly saying, we project something outside that is not there. We project a real, inherent, autonomous existence of things. Things that by nature change all the time. We get disappointed when we see that they have changed. Things that we think they do not come together through causes and conditions, that they just appear like this. Of course, when we think about a tree, or when I see this made of wood, right? Mm-hmm. Do I see the tree? Do I see the sapling of the tree? Do I see the earth that made this tree to grow? The water? The person who cut the tree? The people who made this stool? It seems to be a stool that is existing from its own side, out there, separate from my mind. If I would be a bee or a fly or a mosquito or something, do you think I would be able to see a stool? I would maybe see a landing place or like, something like this as a fly. But it's not. So, but it seems that this is a real stool. Now, I'm calling it stool. How would you call it? Something Hebrew, something. Yeah. I don't know. If you're French, it's a tabouret. So what is it? Stool, tabouret, whatever. Then, for me, this one is here. For you, it is where?
There.
Ah, so is it here or is it there? Mm-hmm. But we're firmly, it's here. So, what is it? Is it here or is it there?
It depends.
Perspective. No, is it here or is it there?
Both.
Both. Can it be both? Can it be here and there?
No.
No. What can it be? It is neither here nor there, really. And then again we can take Mingyur Rinpoche, which is one, I mean, is many things. But one of the things, again, that I apply it when I have a problem or whatever, when I get really nervous, that I think looks real, but it's not true. Things look real, but it's not true because we try to find them, we cannot find them. So that's very difficult to understand. So in order to be able to understand something so deep, and so something that goes so much against our nature to see and trying to understand things, of course you need enthusiasm. Of course it's difficult. Of course it's heroic. Because you have to go against your ordinary views, which are wrong views. You know, destroying the enemy by killing the enemy. Not sure if you can really destroy your enemy. We had in the Tushita Jeep, we had a sticker at the back which said, no anger, no enemy. Because again, you know, we have to be careful what we call an enemy. In ordinary terms, an enemy is somebody that wants to harm you, right? In Buddhist terms, or in Mahayana Buddhist terms, an enemy is somebody that I want to harm. So if I have no anger against anybody, I have no enemy because I don't want to harm anybody. A friend in ordinary terms is somebody that is good for me. A friend in Buddhist or Bodhisattva's terms, somebody I want to be good to. So I can be a friend of everybody, even if they don't like me. Wishing them well, wishing them to be safe, wishing them to be at ease. I can do that with everybody. But it's not easy, it's training, again, you know. So again, don't overdo it, you know, don't take your biggest enemy. Start with your neighbors, start with somebody who takes you parking lots, start with somebody who just gets on your nerves. Do you have people like this that get on your nerves? Yeah. So, what perspective, then we get this tightness, right? Because we're already tight, we're already tired, we're already low, so then this one dares to behave in a way that gets on my nerves, how dare he or she? Do we blame them? So what would you think? What could you think so that they're not getting on your nerves again? Again, you need to use tools, thoughts. When somebody gets on your nerves, if your mind is there and sees what he or she is doing, and the mind is glued to that person, no, that's how stupid we are. Even though they get on our nerves, we cannot look away, we cannot ignore them. It is as if, and then we can, wow, have you seen again, he's doing this, whoa, like that, yeah? So then what could we use to be a bit more at ease with this? Yeah, that's very wide thing. But what could we think? Because if I see the person and I think, compassion, probably not going to change anything here.
I want to do some good things. I want to be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody makes me feel angry, I can remind myself that this is the purpose that I want to live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for example. Well, that's already quite advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just gets you on your nerves because instead of blowing the nose, they go. Yeah, right, exactly. You should. I had a neighbor at Tushita for 3 years. The first thing in the morning, every morning, like kind of pulling it up, bringing it down, spitting it out. Anybody can do that, no problem. She forced me to be able to accept it. Otherwise, it would have, she would have driven me crazy. And you know how it happened? Also, like training, Shantideva, patience, hearing all these methods, of course not applying anything. This is why I got upset every morning when she would come out and go, I'm not going to make the noise. And then I started retreat. And usually she would sleep until 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. But that morning, because when you start retreat, you start at 4 o'clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that morning she got up at 4 o'clock. And this, And I got so angry, thinking she's doing it on purpose. And I got so angry, and if you know Tushita, I was doing retreat in the room, and the Vajrasattva Gompa was empty. So I got all my stuff, and I went down to the Vajrasattva Gompa and started my session on compassion or whatever, full of anger. And then the monkeys started to run around on the roof, because at that time the Vajrasattva Gompa there was no story, it was flat. And the thunderstorm happened, it was during monsoon. Lots of noise, left and right. And I was doing my session. And then I thought, look at you, this is just sound. Whether it's now, see, again, this sound, it makes you laugh. If your neighbor is doing that every morning, it wouldn't make you laugh. It's just sound. And I understood, because of all the things I had heard before, again and again and again and again. From here, it went to here. I went back up. She could do whatever noise she wanted, no problem. But if I just say, it's no problem, blah, 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 it's starting to work, but it doesn't really work. And this is where the perseverance comes in. Even though it doesn't work, you have to apply these methods again and again and again and again and again until they work spontaneously. And she can do whatever she wants, is fine. Because why? Because it's not harmful. This is the best thing. When somebody gets on your nerves with their behavior, how they walk, how they talk, what they do, it doesn't harm me. So why am I getting upset? Why am I getting nervous? And especially when you're not well, and especially when so much difficult things are going on outside, it is then especially difficult that these people do not get on your nerves, because then we're so much at edge, and then we carry it out and all this. Yeah? It's very important to take the hygiene of your mind, to really look after your mind, and to find your own way so you can let go. But that's very difficult, because why? Especially if it's somebody who is close by. You know that we cannot escape. And again, we think we're going to be stuck with these people long, forever. And then the habit of getting upset and nervous becomes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then it takes longer and longer and longer for this person not to have the power over you anymore, to upset you. That's another good way. You can use your arrogance by thinking, I don't want this person to have so much power over me that just being there, they make me upset. Do you see what I mean? So even pride you can, or arrogance, no thank you. I'm not giving you this power anymore. It won't work the first time. It won't work the second time. It won't work the third time. What really works, and that's sad, because somebody also in Yod Fat said, well, if it's very easy to practice patience with short-term relationships, but it's very difficult to practice it with long-term relationships. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. But are long-term relationships really, truly, from their own side, always guaranteed long-term relationships? Person dies, the long-term relationship's finished. See, if we take, and death in Shantideva's chapter, he really takes death to keep him going. When somebody's getting on your nerves, and then we become very unpleasant, isn't it? They need help. If we can, we escape, we don't. They need some encouragement. I mean, I know how it is because I know myself. I see myself how difficult it is to be kind to somebody who's getting on my nerves. Can you see that also?
Yes.
And I want to be kind. It's so much more pleasant to be kind. It's so much more fun to be kind. It's so much more relaxing to be kind than to be, no, I don't, or they say, oh, I really like this tea, and you go, pooh, no, this is not healthy. This whole thing, sometimes somebody really likes, cake, and maybe they're a bit like me with fat here and all this and all that. Oh, but you should really be careful because your age, you're not going to lose the weight anymore. These kind of very good advice, but it's so unkind. Let her enjoy that cake, so what, But you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of, also, when somebody's getting on my nerves, I am not like I want to be. Because I guess we all want to be kind. Not because I want to be loved by others. So many people like me, so many people love me. It doesn't do anything to your general well-being, by the way. Just to, when you're not well, the whole world loves you. It doesn't help you, isn't it? Yeah, you're so wonderful, you're so great. It's like empty words. You don't believe it inside when you're not well. Especially now in this situation when, as Noah was saying, so difficult. We see getting lower and lower and lower. And, so difficult. Even though, you're so wonderful and all this, if you don't feel inside open and spacious, you don't have to feel wonderful. That's, as you would say, pretentious. We don't have to pretend. But we can. We can really train to remain open. And then it's wonderful when somebody says, oh, you're so great, I love you. Why? Why is that wonderful? You see, we can turn everything into ego stuff or not ego stuff. Why is it wonderful when somebody says, I like you? Why? Since we want to be of benefit to others. Because it's good for them.
Yes.
Because if they like me, they're happy to see me. So I don't even have to do anything. It's good for them, they're happy, that's it, great, wonderful. Not because of me, you know, as I'm saying, there's so many people who like me. So it's kind of, I didn't do anything, what can I do? But when I'm not well, it doesn't help, this is what I'm saying. It doesn't really help. But when I think, oh, okay, if they like me and then it's good for them, then it becomes meaningful. But it's just people liking me and then I'm kind of, oh, I'm so wonderful. It's meaningless. Because, you know, one day they like you, next day they don't. It's like, you know, actually in Tushita, always the ones who, you know, after 2 days say, oh, wow, you're so wonderful. And you're so, this is the most dangerous because they don't know me yet. I can be very direct, as you saw, you know, and then at the end they hate you because I wasn't able to maintain this image they had of me. And I didn't even try. On top of it. It's very dangerous when somebody who doesn't know you says, I like you so much. It's like, you know, why? Anyway. So enthusiasm, you know, when I had to prepare for this, because now I'm doing only the things that I'm familiar with, medicine, Buddha, Tara, newness. I do that a lot. I'm very familiar with it. It comes very automatic, very relaxing. I don't have to prepare, but then I thought, oh, he asked me about enthusiasm, so I was in Leora's house. So I thought, okay, I take Shantideva's 7th chapter, and I started to prepare. And the more I read it, the happier I got, because he is so right. So since I didn't, it's long, right? It's 76 thing. But what I can do, I will share the notes I made, because it's notes from 3 different people, from Pema Chodron, from her book about the Bodhicharya Avtara, which is wonderful. She is really able to make the bridge to the Western world with these sometimes very stern words by Shantideva. So I had the commentary, the notes I had were in German, so the Google translated it, but pretty good, I have to say. But I did verse by verse in Leora's house. And the more I read it, the more I thought, wow, this is really fantastic, but we won't have time to go through it. But I will send it to you, and whoever was registered, if you want it, you can have it, you can, you know, you can send it.
הספר להיות בודיסטווה של פמה צ'ודרון בהוצאת פראג. There is a book in Hebrew.
There is a whole book, but I only took, and so Pema Chodron is one, but then Tenzin Zopa is another one, and Venerable Birgit is the third one. So I kind of combined the commentaries a little bit. So if you want, if you have my email or my WhatsApp, you can just send me a message and then I send it to you. And then you have the whole thing. You have the verses and you have the commentary, and then you do with it whatever you do. So what is, since I have to talk about enthusiasm a bit, so what is preventing us from being enthusiastic?
Laziness.
Yeah, 3 types.
Laziness,
Okay.
doubt.
The first one, just being lazy, you know. But this also, when some people say, oh, he's so lazy or she's so lazy, this is very cruel. People are lazy, they cannot be different. But we want them to be different. So if you look at somebody else as lazy, that means you are probably very energetic. Because you know you can do a lot of things. So you can think, oh la la, I could be like this person who doesn't have the energy that I have. So why should I be angry at them? People don't choose to be lazy. They don't see the work, or they don't see, you know, like today with Ronnie also, she was down before the rain started and said, oh, good thing I was down because I picked up all the things that were lying besides the garbage bin. And she said, quite energetically, I don't understand these people that throw it, you know, next to the garbage. I said, I don't understand either, but even in Switzerland people do that. You know, there's a garbage bin, but they throw it, whatever, somewhere else. So if you are somebody who sees it and picks it up, be happy. Because people will love you. If you're somebody who doesn't see it and hasn't been trained, because that's also training. We trained as kids, you go out in nature, whatever you bring, you take back home. We trained, we learned that you don't throw anything on the floor, you try to find a thing. Young people don't have this training anymore, looks like it to me. And it's not only foreigners. In Switzerland, it's also Swiss kids, by the way. You know, the good old Swiss people, they only think it's always the foreigners. No, it's not. It's also Swiss kids. So do you see what I mean? You know, laziness, some people cannot choose to have more energy because they don't. So please don't judge them and be happy that you're not one of those. If you judge somebody else, then you have to see, you know. Also, that's the second type of laziness. Me.
You want to drink?
No, it's okay. Me, that's what I have, second type of laziness. Always busy with something else than dharma. Always having to arrange something. You know, I'm so happy I don't have a place to live. I mean, I have many places to live that I can choose from, but they're not mine. Because having your own place, my gosh, that takes up so much time. Because there's always something better you see in the shops, on the internet, more comfortable, more, you know, smaller, bigger, whatever is more convenient. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
If it's not your house, I'm not going to change the furniture. I'm not going to buy a better mattress for the bed. Also, if Ronnie hears me, but no, she's not. The mattress is very good in case Ronnie is on the... I think she's listening. So, you know, this, I adjust. So this is another thing. If you are dependent on other people to take you in, to put you up, you become very flexible. And then everything is okay. Everything is okay. The food they give you, it's okay. It was so, I think it was Neta who at one point, somebody asked me in Yechian, how do you find the food? And I said, yeah, it's okay. And then she said, don't ask her, she likes everything. I'm very lucky, you know, that everything, I like it, it's okay. It doesn't have to be special, it's okay. It makes life very easy. You see, if you're allergic, if you're, you know, intolerant to certain things, or if your mind is like only this and not that, going out of the house becomes very complicated, very difficult. You invite other people. One is vegan, one is vegetarian, one needs meat, one only eats fish. Yeah, and usually then one settles for vegan, so the others, they have to adjust. Or if you're religious, then one settles for kosher, and everybody else has to adjust. Even it's always the extremists who win. So unjust, isn't it? Okay, so that's the other kind of laziness, always being busy with worldly stuff. We all know that, isn't it? It's always something more important to do, especially now with the telephones. My gosh. Wow, it's like, you know, this instinct of, oh, maybe somebody sent a message. Yeah. So then, for me, it's always, do I put on the sound? Do I put on the sound? Do I not put on the sound? If I put on the sound, it goes, and then I look. Yeah, even if I don't put on the sound, I'm mad, you know, for hours sometimes I'm not looking at the thing. So that's dangerous. Because people expect you to see the message 2 minutes later. You know. Didn't you see the message? I think. No. Yeah. Then the third kind of laziness is
lack of self-confidence.
exactly procrastination. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, this is too difficult, and this and that. So, how do you go against this? What's the antidote to that? You know, I mean, becoming a Buddha, becoming a person with a heart totally open, seeing things as they are, meaning empty of inherent existence, caring for everybody. I mean, that's bloody frightening, excuse me, you know, I mean, but don't forget, you will be caring for everybody with an open heart, not with what I have now, with egocentrism and all that. We will not be depressed. You know, the Dalai Lama, come on, the Tibetans, the ones who were trained, they lost their country. What does he say? Wow, of course it's not nice that the Chinese kind of invaded Tibet, but now I have so many friends that I wouldn't have if I would have stayed in Tibet. Look, he inspires by just being present. Thousands of people, not Buddhists. Have you seen the movie, what's it called? The Wisdom of Happiness.
No.
I think it's playing again. Go and see it. You know, instead of watching the news and hearing the go and see this movie. There's one man who has lost his country. There was one man who has lost his country and is looking after his people, and he says, not in the movie, but he says, my approach to the situation is non-violence. It didn't work. We didn't get the country back, but I wouldn't change my approach. Because also, you know, China, Tibet, he said, how would we have brought in the weapons to fight the Chinese army, you know, over the mountains with horses and mules? It's like, you know. So like that, but don't, I'm not saying you should give up your country, okay? I'm not saying that. Because I don't know what to do also in this situation. So, but because he had the training of a Buddhist, and applied it. You know, he also says, why should I get angry at the Chinese? Then I can't sleep anymore. Then they have really won. Yeah. So anyway, but in the movie itself, because the movie is very moving, because he comes in, he takes off his glasses. Where's the camera? Is it here? And he looks at the camera the whole time. It's as if he's speaking to you, and he does. And he gives us the message, it lies in our own hands. It's difficult to hear sometimes because we cannot give away responsibility anymore, but it's good news. If you would rely for your happiness on your Prime Minister, then you can start to complain. Yeah. But so how can we start to have confidence that we can become loving, wise, and spacious people? How?
Starting developing generosity for the small things.
For example, doing things, you know, this whole thing, the path to enlightenment is an experiment. Life is an experiment. You have to try out things. We want to be happy, isn't it? Everybody has to wish for happiness. No? Yes?
Sure.
Very natural. Why? Why is it so natural? Because it's the nature of our being. Natural happiness, you know, maybe happiness again. Natural being at ease, natural being open, natural being kind, natural being wise. That is the nature of our mind. It's constantly calling us, but we're looking in the wrong place. We're looking for the outside situation so that, oh, then I can be happy. But it's unfortunately not true. Happy at ease, yes, for a while, but then again, like in Switzerland, we had peace for so many years. We never even had a war, and people unhappy commit suicide and stuff like that. So, to do things, to apply method where you can feel your own natural goodness and spaciousness and whatever. So one method is, of course, that's what he starts with, is spacious human rebirth. Yeah? Especially if you're a Buddhist, especially if you heard the teachings before this very difficult situation now. Because hearing karma now, you know, hearing about kind of it lies in our own hand, it's too difficult if you weren't able to practice that and get familiar with it in a bit more easy situation than now. Because now it's really difficult to hear about karma, that kind of. It's our own mind who created this whole mess here. Not now, but like before. So then especially that, you know, precious human rebirth, what does it mean? It means we have the tools and we have the choice or the freedom to be able to apply them or not. And taking refuge means taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha,